Good evening, everybody. Calibus Ran here at the Cosmic Portal. And of course, I am the host of Portal Talk, our new show that is taking on a life of its own, bringing in people who work inside the fandom to you, the fans. And let me tell you, we've had Bo Llewellyn on here. We've had Malika Moore on here. We've had Dennis Madalone on here. And today we have a special treat. Now, in compiling this whole thing, I was struggling last night to really kind of put this together and push and pull and get it to the point that I wanted it. And I never quite got to that point. Truth be told, there was some audio things that I was pushing out to make little clips of, and I lost some audio. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in this show. I'm going to narrate it with you guys because I'm telling you, when you're listening to these guys, these men, the stuntmen that we're about to listen to, what's going on, Taco Cat? These guys are amazing. It now when I watch a show, I'm like stuntman. You know, I really wanted to meet Peter Pascal. And now I kind of want to meet the stuntman that plays him. There's two. There's a stuntman that does the guns, and there's the stuntman that does all the martial arts stuff. And I'm telling you, I want their autographs. And I believe one of them is the grandson of John Wayne, and the other one is a fight or stunt coordinator in his own right, and a martial artist in his own right. So I would be, crazy not to want to get his autograph. But anyway, I digress. Guys, sit back and enjoy this because today is First Contact Day. That's right, Big L. That's right. You know I had to do it. Today is First Contact Day. We are some big Star Trek fans here on the Cosmic Portal as well as in the 757 area. There, you know Big L. He's a big Trek fan. His favorite captain is Jean-Luc Picard. Big L is also a big Klingon fan. He's also, of course, my partner, Detective Garrett, on the Dogs of Gotham. But we have this love, and it's always Star Wars, Star Wars, Star Wars, Star Wars. You guys see it behind me. We're always Star Wars. Today, we are celebrating First Contact Day, and in that celebration, I bring you two people with at least 200 or more episodes combined together that worked on Next Generation, DS9, Voyager, and Enterprise. Dennis was also the stunt coordinator for some of these shows and many others. But the overall taping of this was like over an hour long because we went into another field. So I'm going to try to keep it as much about Star Trek as I can, and I'm going to narrate as we go along. I think you guys will enjoy it. It's again, it is a extreme pleasure for me to be able to get these guys, and I never thought that it would happen the way it did. Dennis came through and he was like, "Hey man, I got a couple of guys that would love to come on, talk with you guys." We had a third. We had a third guy, and he could not make it. George could not make it. I have some pictures, and I'm hoping to, as the scenes are being played, I'm hoping to push them up there as fast as I can to get them synced. But sometimes I get so wrapped up in listening to these guys, man. I'm telling you. Well, without further ado, let's just get to it, shall we? And here I am. All right. So, as you can see, we have Bo Llewellyn, the car at the bottom. Over here to my, I guess that would be my left, would be, of course, Dennis, and then Tom Morga below him. As I did the intro, I'm muting myself so I could basically do all the commentary. I don't really want to talk over myself. And as soon as they start talking, I will stop. But we got to ask them questions. Dennis, of course, you guys may know him best as the Greatest American Hero. Tom, however, is throughout our childhood. This guy goes from Bachelor Party to Friday the 13th, Halloween, many others. He was in Alien Nation, the movie. And it was so awesome to talk to him. So I believe I asked Dennis to introduce Tom, and of course about how he got into the business. So as soon as that happens.
Hey, great to be here. Love you guys, buddy.
So we started off really kind of not wanting to, push some issues. You know what I mean? Because, and that was Bo getting into it. And as you can say, I was excited because I'm telling you, the stories that start coming out was just amazing. And it's always a pleasure having Dennis on the show. And then wait till you guys start hearing what Tom's going to say. So I'm asking Dennis to go ahead and start talking about his experience and, being the stunt man and then stunt coordinator and how much all that entailed. So this was very interesting because
well, TNG, I remember the first day I worked on it.
I started him out asking him what was the first Star Trek thing that he was starting to work on.
I was just working one day on it, and I was going to be gone. And Rob Bowman, the director, brought me on it, and we did like a little fire scene where I was playing a Starfleet, and I was imagining there was fire around me, and Captain Picard was saying, "It's only in your mind. Get it out of your mind." And so I had that scene with him, and it really went well. And they brought me back again to coordinate another episode and another one, and it just turned into, believe it or not, 14 years and 389 episodes. So immediately when I got on it, by the second episode, I wanted to bring my team in and my best friends that I train with, and that's Tom Morgan. And Tom Morgan's with us, right, Tom?
I'm here. Thank you. We've done a lot of stuff together, and Dennis and I trained together in the very beginning, and then he jumped into getting a couple coordinating jobs, called me right away. We did a couple series that went on with Jeff Goldblum, and I doubled him, and it was called 10 Speed and Brown Shoe with Ben Vereen. It was a great series, and we did that for a couple of years. And then we went on to other stuff, and then Star Trek come up, and then Without a Trace, and all the different things. I've gotten a lot of days from Dennis.
What was great about Tom and most of the guys from the gym was when I got on the show, they started adding more and more action. And then before you know it, I had the whole Paul Stater stunt team on the show. And of course, I was there for those 14 years, but I between me and Tom, I think Tom probably was in almost 200 episodes of the television shows, not to mention he doubled Spock in the features and Pirates of the Caribbean. I mean, Tom, talk a little bit about your first time on Star Trek and also the pirate movie.
Yeah, well, I was very fortunate because I'm Leonard Nimoy's size, and I got a little bit of this cheekbone like he is. And then when they had a call for a stunt guy, I got referred, and so I went in to see, and they said, "Yeah, we'll use you." I had no idea what it was going to be because, like you talk about the classics, Calvus is saying, you guys were back when it was something, and there was a TNG and the Next Generation, and the Voyager and Deep Space. Those are such classic. Well, to me, when I'm doing the movie, they've already done, Star Trek. The original series had been done, so what they were going to do in this movie was obviously just a cast reunion, no big deal. So I had no idea how iconic it would turn out to be years later, but I was doubling Spock, and it was a tremendous thing to be able to do. And as you can see, I have that picture is pretty old that you can see of me as Spock, but I look pretty good. I made a pretty good double for him, and that was my first experience getting on Star Trek.
Yeah, when I first got on Star Trek, The Next Generation, it didn't hit me until I knew I was going to be coordinating that show for the next 7 years. And then I realized one night that I was just a little kid watching William Shatner. And now suddenly we're the guys getting beat up by, Captain Picard and everybody else. So it's pretty cool when you're a little kid and suddenly you're on that show again with a different cast, but not with the powerful connection that they all have. We're all connected, all the Trek movies, TV series, the new ones now. It's just this big family connection from the 60s till today.
Yeah, it's amazing. And looking back to have been a part of that, I mean, Dennis and I are both real, we're pretty impressed with ourselves looking back. Say, geez, we did some of this stuff. We were really part of the story, and a good part too.
They were one of the best parts of the story. Some of these pictures that they're talking about, what I'm going to do is when I post up the video link in the comments, I'm going to put the pictures in the comments, because I think you guys would be more interested in being able to see that than me trying to post it up, mess up the video, keep it going. So we're going to get back to the video, but I can guarantee some of these things that they tell you that you did not know. I posted a couple of TikTok videos of some of the things that they've been saying, and we've posted it up, but you're going to hear a lot more here in this episode. Let's get back to it.
Because there were years. I mean, when you do, like Dennis did, he did Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager. He's coordinated all those shows. And I was with him all the time. We were fortunate because I'm taller than him, and I'd make a good Romulan and a good Borg and the rest. And George now, he could double for Shimmerman. So he was Armin's double because he could do Ferengi and Neelix in the Next Gen. No, I'm getting mixed up, but he could get the shorter guys. I got the taller guys, and Dennis did everyone else in between and above and below.
Yeah. Tom was easy to hire because every time they brought in guest stars, they're usually 6'2", 6 foot, and it's just automatic. Tom, because they're all usually he's doubling guys that are wearing makeup. They're aliens. So it's easy to bring in the buddies. There's not like bringing in people that you trained with, and because not talking about me, but Tom Morga and George Colucci, Kenny Lesko, all the guys from the gym, Mick Rogers, they're talented. Paul Stater, he made sure that when we left the stunt school, that we were the best fighters, that we were guys that could do a great fight scene. And in this business, if you can't do fights, then you can't make it in the business. But if you're a great fight person, that's 95% of this whole business is doing fights, getting beat up, getting slammed into walls. And now all that energy that Paul gave us is what we used on the history of all the Star Treks we worked on. It was all that crazy big energy. It really fit for those shows.
And when Dennis was referring to the gym, that was where the school was. We found this school in Santa Monica run by a stunt guy who had been in the original series. And I think he doubled for Spock in the original series too. He did a lot of other things, but he was one who actually had a school. We went to it and we called it our gym. And it was a small, actually boxing gym. And we learned all those basic talents, how to fall, how to fight, how to do high falls, fencing. We even did car hits outside and learned some driving. And then we'd also go over to another person's place. His name is Bob Yerkes, and he came from circus to the business. And he used to have a big backyard, still does, that has a whole flying rig in it. So he has trapeze and tall poles. And we go over there on Saturdays and learn our high falls. And we do the 30, 40-foot high falls and learn back falls, side falls, headers, and all these different things that would add to our abilities. And so we had a good grounding when we first started. And like Dennis says, the Paul Stater guys that learned at that gym had a certain level of ability, and you'd work with them, call them in, and you knew what you're getting, and you could work with them.
Yeah, you know what was great about using the people that we trained with? Not only are we all great friends, but we do know all our abilities. I don't have to show them what to do. I only have to help choreograph it. I don't have to show them how to hit the ground, show them how to throw a good punch. I have to babysit and make sure everybody's always safe. And that's what a stunt coordinator is. He choreographs, but so does his stunt team, Tom and all the guys. They help me coordinate. They help me choreograph. Sometimes Tom will go off with the actors and guest stars and Captain Picard, and he'll put something together, and I'll look at it and go, nah. And then I take out this one or add that one. And that's what's great. We kind of mold it together because I know Tom will give me a lot of cool moves, and I can watch it like it's a painting and go, get rid of the blue and the yellow. Let's go with the red and the black, And so that was really cool to know that all that is that everyone is going to do a great job, but also what kind of persons are they? Are these people representing me on the set, all the guys I'm hiring? And they all are kind and giving and humble, talented. And so those are people I always want to be around. And we were blessed to have a gym full of those people, but we got all that happy energy from Paul Stater.
Yeah, he's like he's the guy that has started us. Our leader from the very beginning. But it's fun when you talk about how it was done or how we kind of put the construction of it together. I would often work with Dennis as his assistant to work with a stunt guy on a fight that we're going to have, or an actor, and I'd go ahead and I'd make up a whole fight routine with a lot of different moves in it. And whenever you're doing something, like even if it's a dance or something where you're involved in it, you can't see it like the person who's watching. And that's what Dennis is good at. He'll look at that whole routine and the choreography, and he'll say, that's great. Wait a minute, let's change this and let's put in the teepee cut here. And then when you do that, turn around and throw them down. And let's stop there. That's probably enough. Just give me one more of these. And then he can see it, and then he puts it all together. So I'd be able to build some stuff, bring it to him, and then he'd hash it around and we'd have a fight. Then we show it to the director, and I don't think there was a time when the director didn't say, yeah, that's great, let's do it.
Yeah, Tom actually built, we would look at a script and it's like a new alien on Star Trek. And we're thinking I wonder what kind of weapon they're going to have. They can't have batleths. So Tom Morga built a couple of different prototypes with cardboard and tape, and we would bring it to Dan Curry and show Dan Curry, and he would go, man, this is great. And so Tom came up with some cool weapons that we used on the show that the prop people took over and made real rubber ones and metal ones out of.
Yeah, and that was one of our favorite episodes on Deep Space Nine. It was called Battle Lines, and it was two tribes of people that would fight and kill each other, then come back to life and fight and kill each other. And as a matter of fact, I have one of these pictures on my desk that I keep. And this is Dennis and I outside of stage 18.
Yeah.
In Battle Lines. That's our character. It was one of those iconic shows that we did. And the story behind this, let me tell this, Dennis. Dennis has sometimes brought me in for production meetings because we'll be doing this and that, listen to this, and we'll etc. get it together. So I'm with him on this production meeting. It's in the morning, and usually they run through the script, tell everybody what it's about. They got all the department heads. There's wardrobe, makeup, hair, camera, stunts, effects. They all around the table, and then the director and the first assistant would read through the script, say, okay, we got this going, that going. They get to the fight, and they said, all right, now we have these characters, and they fight each other, they kill each other, come back to life, and they got a pole arm, which they use to kill each other. And we're listening to that, and I'm standing next to Dennis, and we know what usually happens. Props make some almost unusual thing that's not balanced real good. You have to figure out how to use it. So I'm telling Dennis, I said, Dennis, how about this afternoon when they have the next meeting, I could make up something and bring it in, and we'll see if they'll buy it. That all happened, and it's all those years ago. I'm talking, I don't know how many years, 30 years ago at least, but I never throw anything away. So I happen to have that very piece of prop that I made, and it was out of a sledgehammer hand.
And he's not joking. He actually still has this prop in his house that he made on the set of Star Trek. That's how wild this is. Check it out.
And I just cut out some cardboard and sprayed it with some silver paint. And I took a sock and I made a big ball and taped it all up on the bottom with duct tape. And I brought it in and gave it to Dennis. And he says, well, listen, about that fight with the pole arm, could we have something like this? And they all went, oh yeah, get the props.
All right.
So
there it is.
This is the actual one. I made it up. I went home, cut a piece of this out, put it on a sledgehammer handle, and I got a big old sock and I taped it all up here. So now we have this weapon we could use all different ways. You can stab with it, and you can hit with it, butt stroke with it, protect yourself with it. It was great. So that's what happened. That's the end of that story.
Yeah, but let me tell you, that is so cool that 30 years ago, Tom made that, prop in his house, and it's still in his house, that original prop.
Garage, yeah. I remember watching
when you watch the episode Madalone, they weren't allowed to shoot each other, so we had to have something that can be crazy and powerful, where they can keep killing each other and everyone comes back to life. And it was like the perfect thing. When you see the 2 or 3 battles we did with that weapon, it was just magical to have a ball that you can hit someone in the head with. Like Tom said, the block, the stab, the slices. It was really a lot of fun. And when I see that battle nowadays, it makes me smile because I know that Tom made that little cardboard toy and turned into magic.
It was great. And that was one of our most fun episodes, I think. We talk about that often when we say, remember?
And right here, I'm just the history. Being such a fan, the history of what they're saying is just, you know what I mean? They're making their own props off the fly. And now this is a Star Trek weapon that some of us Trekkies
say that again
might enjoy. So I'm asking, I believe, what was their favorite alien to play?
Tom, you tell them what you liked.
All right. Just a second.
And this is amazing. I love this part.
While he's looking, for me, I love playing the Cardassians because of the neck muscles. They made you look like a weightlifter. They add these rippling muscles on your neck. It was so cool. It made you look like twice the shape you're in. But my favorite character I ever played, which was an alien, was a rebel on Through the Looking Glass episode on Deep Space Nine. I played a one-eyed Morga, and they brought me back on 2 other episodes to play that same character. I think you have a picture of that me I sent you the other day, and so I love playing that.
Now, again, I'm going to put the pictures in the comments so you guys will be able to see what some of these characters they're talking about. And to save some time, I'm going to cut these videos up because there is a couple of things that we go off kind of off script on, and it's not really kind of related to Star Trek. So you can expect 2 more installments of this video. This is just the first contact edition of the video.
Particular character, but Jahamadars were always fun. But Tom, he'll tell you what he liked the most.
Well, I think when we did Star Trek: The Motion Picture, I wore the new Klingon outfit stuff. It had the ridge across the head all the way down to the nose and the whiskers and all that stuff. And the new.
So Tom Morga in Star Trek: The Motion Picture is the first 2 Klingons that you see on the bridge, the captain and the first officer. He is playing the first officer.
New uniforms. It was really great. So this is me doing General Martok, and I used to be able to do General Martok stuff.
Now that's again a funny side note. We've had J.G. Hertzler on our show 3 times. So I've had the man that played Martok, and I've also had the man that was his stunt double on the show. And you know what I mean? You just can't beat that. I mean, the knowledge that they impart on us, telling us the behind the scenes stuff. And I just, you know what I mean? There's a good saying amongst Klingons. It's good to be Klingon. And, you know, to have both of them on the show, priceless.
And maybe the Klingon is my favorite guy because we could do a lot of neat things with that bat lift. We like using that. That was a unique thing. Yeah, it was Dan Curry invented it, and he took Tai Chi, so he used it so you can make rolling figure eights and moves with it. And when we got it, oh man, we started making up all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, you know, when Dan Curry in the production meeting came up with, I have a weapon for the Klingon to use. It's called a batlet, and he showed me a picture of it. Yeah, and I looked at Dan, and I looked at the sketch in the production meeting, and now you're in the meeting with 30 head of departments, producers, everybody, director. So I didn't say anything, but deep inside, I'm looking at the weapon going, we are so boned. I mean,
I remember
this weapon.
you first told me, you guys, it's a banana weapon.
Yeah, I'm saying to myself, man, there's no way we're going to use this weapon. It's awkward looking. It's like a can opener on each end. I mean, it didn't look right. And then when they made it and they handed it to me,
a whole
and I brought
droid,
it to
dang,
Tom,
that'd be sick.
the truth is, when you get to be a Klingon, they had these big Klingon shoes that were like, you know, made for, you know, LeBron James. They were like size 18, but they had heels on them. And so you could be 4 inches taller. And so it was great. I suddenly could play Klingons because now I'm tall enough. But I kept using my buddies like George Colucci and Kenny Lesko, a great stuntman, my best friend. And we used to bring them on, but they're only like 5'8", 5'7" on a good day. And so I had them play Klingons for like a year or two. And finally, the unit manager came up to me and goes, why are there short Klingons? I said, don't you know that Klingons bring their children into the battles too? And he looked at me and goes, you're right. And so I made up a story, and they love it. I said, so if you see a Klingon that's about 5'10", that's their sons they're bringing into battle. So that's called the New Jersey scam. I made up a story. They liked it. It worked. So
I still can't get over the New Jersey scam. I am going to take this time to break right here and put this out. You have 2 more videos coming your way. I'm going to drop them today, of course, tomorrow, and then on Sunday, the end of this interview. I want to stretch this out because this is so much knowledge. Because again, not all of this was about Star Trek, but I had to share this with you because of the passion that these 2 men brought here. And Mr. George Khalil could not make it. Colucci, excuse me, Mr. Colucci could not make it here, but I have pictures of him as well. So I'm going to put these things in the comments, the pictures in the comments. We're going to drop another video tomorrow. I'm going to drop another video tomorrow, more about the Dennis and Tom tomorrow. And I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did, celebrating First Contact Day, celebrating being Klingon, of course. I know that's not what this video was supposed to be about, being Klingon. It's about First Contact Day, when the Vulcans came down here. But it's all Trek. And that's the best part about it. This is all Trek. This is something that we wanted to bring to you, the fans. This is something that we wanted you guys to be, of course, proud of, and to say, hey, they are trying to bring the fandom to us fans. So, guys, thank you once again for joining us, and joining me, I should say. There's no us here. Joining me on this journey down First Contact Day. I would always say something, kind of either Star Wars, or now with my new my book saying I would say something else like "os" or whatever else. But today feels right to say this: live long and prosper, and of course, Kapla.